Freddie Kitchens one and done, which is hardly a surprise. Trent, do you agree with the Browns firing Freddie Kitchens? And what kind of coach is needed to maximize Baker Mayfield?
Well, about a month ago, I would have said it's not time to move on from Freddie Kitchens, because if you look at this, the next head coach is going to be the 9th head coach in the last 12 years. But the Browns were sitting at 5-6, and over the last 5 games of the season, they went 1-4. They lost their last 3. So they weren't performing. They weren't getting motivated by Freddie Kitchens. The play of Baker Mayfield had dropped off. The offense had dropped off. The team just didn't live up to the hype. The fact they were the 3rd most penalized team in the NFL. There were a lot of negatives going against the Cleveland Browns and against Freddie Kitchens. So I think they had to move on. Now, who I think you need to bring is someone that's going to bring in some of that discipline. I just got done talking about the penalty. There has to be more discipline around the organization, around that football team when you talk about penalties, and of course the Myles Garrett thing that we already touched on. But there's a number of different guys that you could bring in, but it has to be a good fit with John Dorsey.
Yeah, Trent, I think it was a mistake from the get-go. Look, Freddie never had any head coaching experience at any level. He'd only been a play caller the previous season, so he didn't have a lot of experience there. And I think the fact that Baker Mayfield really regressed in year 2 under Freddie Kitchens was really what ultimately did him in. And as you mentioned, Trent, it's a team that lacked discipline. The penalties, the turnovers, the mistakes, just too much for Cleveland to overcome.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I believe that Freddie Kitchens probably was not ready for this opportunity. I mean, I think they jumped the gun a little bit. I think you could have justified the fact that maybe Greg Williams might have been a better fit to keep instead of making the move to Freddie Kitchens. Maybe they'll consider bringing Greg Williams back. I don't know. But if they do decide to go with an offensive coach, I think you're looking at a guy possibly like a Josh McDaniels. People are talking about him being a nice fit there to help bring Baker Mayfield along. And I also think another great fit would be Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for Baltimore, who has done so great up there with Lamar Jackson. He's a Cleveland guy as well, so he knows that part of the country. That'd be a nice fit. Those are some pretty good options, I think, if they decide to make a move in that way.
Absolutely, and to Rich's point, should have never even considered Freddie Kitchens to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. No surprise, he's one and done.
Freddie Kitchens let go by the Browns after 1 year on the job. A year ago, they didn't talk to guys like Josh McDaniels and Mike McCarthy. They want to now. Pat Shurmur, his tenure over in New York after just 2 years. Matt Rule of Baylor is someone the Giants want to get an audience with as soon as his bowl game's over. Maybe they can bring him back home to New Jersey. Ron Rivera, he was on his way to Washington on Monday, where Dan Snyder's trying to pull out all the stops to make him their next head coach. I expect that to happen early this week. Skins looking for new GMs and personnel men as well. And Jason Garrett, as of Monday night, was still discussing his future with Jerry Jones. I've been hearing for weeks that Jerry was ready to make a move if Dallas couldn't get over the top in the playoffs this year. Nothing official yet, but Jason Garrett's contract expires in 2 weeks.
Jason, thank you very much, as always. All right, guys, let's go around the horn and focus on the NFC East a little bit more. Trent, is Ron Rivera the right person to help the Redskins and whoever their quarterback's going to be?
I do believe Ron Rivera is the right guy, and let me tell you why. He was with the Carolina Panthers for 9 years. He was 2-time AP NFL Coach of the Year. They made the playoffs 4 times, made it all the way to the Super Bowl in one of those seasons. But the thing that's even more important to me, yes, he's a defensive guy. He's got a history as a player with the Chicago Bears and his history as a defensive coordinator in the league. But the thing that stands out to me is the type of person that Ron Rivera is. He's a builder of men. He understands a locker room. He knows how to motivate guys and build up a locker room, build up men to be of good character. And I think that would be an excellent hire for Washington if they do indeed get that done.
I agree with you, Trent. I think Ron Rivera is going to be a great fit up there. But talking about the New York Giants and Pat Shurmur, I think this was inevitable as well. A 9-23 record. There's not much to speak for, much to hang your hat on over 2 years. He talked about how young his team was and all the dead money that's going to be going away and how they're going to be able to go after free agents and have some high draft picks next year. But the bottom line is that it just wasn't going to go any further than this year. It's time to make a change. And I think in addition to what Jason was reporting, I think guys to think about would be possibly Mike McCarthy for the Giants, and also a guy that I'm going to throw out there I think would be a great fit would be John Fox. He has a history with the New York Giants, 5 years in the late 90s, early part of 2000. I think he'd be a nice fit up there as well.